All right, my name is Ryan Bernstein, and we're going to do a makeup application for Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is my friend Natalie. We're just doing this cute, everyday, daytime into evening look. We are going to start by prepping the face with a good, hydrating, gripping primer to ensure that all of the makeup stays on the face throughout the day. This will be good because it'll help blur the skin a little bit, give some hydration in there, make the makeup last but not dry out, which is obviously important for us and what we're going for here. It's also really pretty, just like underneath a setting powder or anything, which is really nice. As you're putting this on, you want to rub and then press it. Give it about 60 seconds to sit. That's how you know that it will do its magic. And keep the makeup on the face, which we love. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of a medium coverage hydrating foundation, the Born This Way foundation from Too Faced. Using a beauty sponge, pressing it into the face. Obviously that's going to give the most natural finish to what we're going for here. Starting in the center of the face, just pouncing it on in layers. Layering is important because you don't want to put everything on in a thick layer all at once. It'll look cakey and not very flattering. You obviously want this skin to be flattering. Taking it all over. And then I know that you mentioned you have a little bit of extra rosiness in your cheek area. So we're gonna go on with a second little layer there. Make sure that's nice and evened out and covered. And that's a nice, flawless finish there. Taking it down the jawline a little bit because we don't have any lines of demarcation in 2019 and in 2020. All right, next we're gonna go in with a highlighting concealer, the Fenty Beauty Concealer, and we're just gonna take a little bit of this and place this on the back of my hand here. And I'm going to take the corner tip of the Beauty Blender, designed to go into small places like the under eye, and I'm gonna have you look up for me. And we're gonna focus on the inner corner. That's where darkness usually sits the most. And then taking the rest and blending it out. That'll make sure that we don't get too heavy of an application, but still get all of the coverage that we need. And take a little bit. We're gonna go onto the chin area, highlighting the chin, pulling that forward, making our face very dimensional. Taking a little bit into the center of the forehead. Mimicking that oval shape that we all are supposed to love. And then we're taking that highlight concealer and bringing it down past the under eye, creating that triangle of light underneath the eye. It'll brighten everything up, help give some lift to the cheekbones and take the eye upwards. Now dragging down a little bit onto the sides of the nose here. And we're highlighted and magical. Next, we're going to take a little bit of a translucent powder to keep everything in place. This will both help the makeup last longer throughout the day and give a little bit more of a skin-like finish. I love the Anastasia setting powder. It's got a nice bit of dimethicone in it, so it does smooth as you put it on, which I think is really good. I'm taking the Beauty Blender, pouncing it in here, taking a little bit off onto my hand, pressing this onto the under eye, sides of the mouth, areas that move a lot. You're very expressive, so we're going to do a little bit in the forehead too. Pressing the powder in also really helps to ensure that you don't get that really like gross powdery look over everything, and it just sets everything in place without making you look dusty. Which is obviously
Thanks.
a good thing. You're welcome.
What's dimethicone?
It's a little bit of a coagulated oil, so it just kind of melts and smooth. Like it blurs texture a little bit, kind of like some primers have it and everything, you know?
Yeah.
Which is nice. Okay, so we're done with our beauty blender. Next we're gonna move on to powder brush. This one is super nice because it's got that domed top, so it'll really hug the face, the cheeks and everything. I use this for bronzer and contour. We're gonna bronze first to add a good sun-kissed look to the face. You can see we've got that going on over here. So I'm gonna take my bronzer, a 3 shape around the face, starting on the forehead, slightly dusting this on. Similar to the foundation, we're working in layers. We're not just going on and making stripes on the face, because obviously we don't like to do that. And I'm just kind of going in whooshing circular motions, you can feel, because we don't have straight lines on the face, so we obviously don't want to apply anything in a straight line. Just enough to add some dimension on there. And I like to take a little bit too and run it up the side of the nose. Just adds a little bit more dimension to the nose and kind of helps to bring the nose forward as well, kind of giving the face more dimension. And it also makes it so that you don't have this really weird like bright inside and like tan perimeter on the face, which is super duper nice. Second, I'm going to go in with my contour. Just something cool toned. I like to start with a lighter contour just to give a good shape, and then I kind of darken it up as we go in. Putting this right underneath the cheekbone here, starting in the hairline, sweeping forward. Trying to keep the hair out of the way there.
Good luck.
Yes. This will give more lift to the face, accentuate the cheekbones, give you what the kids call that nice snatched look. A little bit on the perimeter of the forehead. Again, enhancing that oval shape that we love. Then taking just a little bit underneath the jawline here. Who needs plastic surgery when you can contour? And then I'm going to take a little bit of a deeper shade just to enhance that contour. And I'm really going to focus on the back section of the contour here, pulling that forward, really enhancing that cheekbone. It'll be like you have cheek filler for days, but no unnecessary moves here. And I'm just going to take the excess and add that onto the perimeter of the face so that we don't have any weird super dark and then super light areas. Cool. Next, I'm going to go in with some blush. I use a smaller powder brush for blush just because I feel like it's really easy to place it where you want. Blush is also really important in terms of lifting the face, because if you pull it too far forward, if you look too far forward, it pulls the face down. So we're going to start it back here, kind of on the side of the apple of the cheek, and then pull it backwards. I like to take 2 blushes just because it's a little bit more fun. I'll go in with this lighter blush first, take it and sweep it back and up. Right underneath the corner of the eye, sweeping up into the side of the eye. Again, giving that beautiful lift to the face, that youthful look. Everyone wants to look younger, even though we're all still 20-somethings. And then I take a little bit of that deeper blush once I've got that, and really just add that rosiness back in, giving a dimensional effect to the blush so that we don't have any like stale, just one color, super 80s like line blush on the face. It also helps to blend in a little bit. Some people are bold, they like to put it on the nose. I'm not going to do that today just because that's not what we're going for. We're doing more of an everyday thing. But that'll just add a little bit of color back in there. A little bit of a natural flush. And next we're going to do some shimmer, some glow. I like doing a soft glow brush because I feel like it really diffuses the line. We don't want any highlighter lines. We like highlight, but not that much. I'm using the Anastasia and Amrezy highlighter because it's beautiful, and honestly, why would you use anything else? And for this one, because it's so soft and delicate, you can really just dive in there and not have it like be too much. I'm gonna first start by creating this C shape around the eye area, going on the high point of the cheek, enhancing the outside of the eye. It'll also look pretty under the brow bone, and giving that really good pop right here over the cheekbone. Again, more lift, more sun kiss, a little bit of a natural finish so that we're not just all one texture because our faces have a lot of different texture going on. I'm gonna take a little bit above the brow, sweeping it softly up into the forehead, a little bit on the jawline, a dash down the bridge of the nose. and a dash above the cupid's bow. This is really nice. This is my favorite trick to give the upper lip a little bit of lift and more fullness, because if you've got that light here, it just pulls everything up and forward so that it's like lip injections without actually injecting anything into your lips. You love that,
I'm
right?
really into the injections.
You know, plastic surgery, it's the way to go. Just kidding, that's why we have makeup. All right, next I'm going to go into a little bit of eyeshadow base, Anastasia eyeshadow base. This will be good because it'll help even out the tone of the eyelids. You can even do this just by itself if you want to, if you ever don't want to wear any eyeshadow, but also it gives a good grip to the eyeshadow so that it picks up and it doesn't crease on the eyelid after wearing it for however long you have to do teaching things. We're just going to take a light finger and spread that all over the lid, concentrating it on the lid and then sweeping it up into the brow. We don't need a whole lot of grip right under the brow. That's where we're going to have our blending color. But we really want that fun orange to pick up on the lid, which is important. Okay. Once we've got all that going on, we're going to go into the Subculture palette throwback. Taking a blending brush first. If I can find it, there it is. Taking our blending brush first, and then we're going into this really light color just to sweep it in the crease, give a little bit of base for everything, enhance the eye socket shape naturally, kind of draw that eye out, give it some good going places, help all the other colors blend too, which is super nice, especially since we're going in with a deeper red. And really you can just kind of do whatever with that, tap off some of the excess, you don't have any fallout. Just kind of take this in the crease here, wiggle it back and forth, going along that crease area. I'm also going to take a little bit and take it on the outer V here, because that's the shape that we're going to focus on. That'll really enhance your natural eye shape. Setting that eyeshadow base in place and giving a nice start to the definition on the eye. All right, cool. Next we're going to take a medium packer brush. I like doing these because you can draw the line of the eyeshadow and then turn it sideways, blend it out, which is really nice. So I'm going to take this deep brick tone right here, just a little bit in here. I'm going to have you close for me. I'm going to start in the middle of the eye because that's where you're going to get the most pigment. And I'm going to work it backwards towards the outer V and then sweep that forward. I'm going with a little bit more here. And this will really just carve out that crease, give some definition. And at first it's going to look a little bit intense, but that's because we're really placing the color for right now. Taking this onto the outer V here, and then we're going to turn the brush sideways. Just sweep it across the lid here, diffusing those edges so that we don't have any of those harsh lines going on. And you can kind of really get in here and go a little bit crazy at this point, because you don't want any harsh edges. And the most important rule of eyeshadow is blend. Blend, 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 until your arm falls off, or you feel like you're done. Because I didn't get enough out here, I'm just going to take a little bit more into this outer V section here. I'm going to blend that. Take a step back, make sure we're even. Beautiful. Love that. Okay, and then I'm going to go into a smaller packing brush for this orange shade, because I don't need to be super precise, but I want something that's really going to get the color on there. It's really important having something that's a little bit denser when you're pressing on a color that you want to really pull through. Otherwise it's just going to diffuse it even with the eyeshadow base and it'll just disappear in the eye look. Going into Roxy, just grabbing all that. I'm going to sweep that across the lid. Taking that from one side of the lid to the other. Pulling it into that inner corner. Pulling it up to where we had that brick red tone. And then like I did earlier, I'm going to take the brush sideways and sweep those red and orange colors together. Really giving a seamless blend here. Enhancing the eye shape, but not allowing you to see harsh line, and like we're trying to create this really unnatural crease situation. Open it for me. Beautiful, perfect, stunning. Because you don't have eyes that are super far apart or super close together, we don't really need to focus on winging it out or bringing it together, but that's something you can play around with in terms of shapes. Next, we're gonna go into the under eye, and I'm gonna take that small brush again. I'm gonna take a little bit of that orange color just on the tip. I'm gonna have you look up. I'm just gonna dust that along the lower lash line. This is really gonna help to give a completed eyeshadow look. A lot of times people will just do eyeshadow on the top of the lid, and their eyeshadow just, something looks not complete about it. Doing this little extra step, adding one or two of the colors from the lid look, pulls it all together, makes it look cohesive. You can even do like just the top of the lid for the daytime and then add a little bit more smokiness into the bottom for a nighttime look. I'm gonna go into that red ever so slightly because we don't want to go crazy. And keep it on the outer corner. Getting some dimension there. Cool. And then instead of liner, I like to do a little bit of eyeshadow just because I feel like it's softer and less harsh on the bottom lid. So I'm going to go into this dark blue color because black's too ordinary. Taking this on an angled brush that gives us a really good line, tapping off a little bit of the excess there. I'm going to have you look up again. I'm just going to look like right in between the lashes. So we don't even really need to do a whole lot of bottom mascara because you'll know that that can get a little bit smudgy. You okay?
Sorry, yeah.
You're totally fine. Dusting this all on here. Giving the effect of bottom liner without being super harsh and intense. There we go.
Contacts.
I know, you okay?
I'm good.
Cool. All right. Next thing we're gonna do is the brow. So brows, this is always fun. Measuring the brow. Take your pencil, side of the nose, draw it up here, that's where the brow starts. Take it over the top of the nose, look forward, through the iris on the outer corner, that's where your brow is gonna arch. And then taking it here along the side of the nose, side of the eye, that's where your eye is gonna end. And then you're just gonna comb through the brow to give a good idea of where everything's gonna go. I'm using Brow Wiz, it's a small pencil. You've got a good bit of brow going on already. We're just kind of adding some definition to it, a little bit more hair, a little bit more shadow. If you want to do something else, use a thicker pencil or a pomade or a powder, whatever, but we're not doing anything crazy.
Plenty up there already.
You're like, you've got plenty of brow
Yeah.
hairs, so we're fine. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm going to start from the bottom along the base, giving a good baseline to start the brow. I'm doing light repetitive strokes to mimic hairs so that we don't have any harsh lines, nothing crazy. And then what I like to do is I like to draw on the tail, giving that nice solid pointy little tail moment, pulling it forward, and then filling up at the top anywhere that we might need to. Because that's, like for me, I always have a spot right here that I need to fill in, so I kind of like going here and pulling it forward. That way I don't accidentally draw a really square brow that looks super unnatural or anything. Taking a little bit into the front, that brow, pulling it back, and going in and brushing out any harsh lines that we might have accidentally had. A little bit more of a cohesive shape. Doing some cleaning. And brows, like with everything else, you kind of figure out exactly how you like to do it. So if this isn't your entire jam, then it doesn't have to be, but we're doing it this way right now. We're gonna go in with some clear brow gel afterwards because we want them to stay in place. You know, we've got those pretty brow hairs. So just lightly brushing that through. It also gives a little bit more of that hair-like texture back to the brow, which is nice. And I like to pull up towards the front of the brow, back, down, and around. Really emphasizing that tail, which we all love. Perfect. Doesn't feel crunchy, which is super nice. Just like a light hold hairspray for the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Super nice. Next, we're gonna go in with some liner. The Anastasia liquid liner. This one's nice because it's gonna stay there. It gives a nice solid line, but it doesn't, it's not too thick, but it's not too thin, so you don't have to build up a lot, and it's an opaque black, so you won't have to go over and over and over again. So I'm gonna have you look down for me, and I'm gonna follow the natural tilt of your lash line. So I'm just gonna pretend like I'm extending that out, place the brush down, and then connect it out here. And that's how we make a little bit of a wing moment going on. And then I'm going to turn it the other way to connect it along the lash line. Just bringing that over right into the lashes. I'm not going to go too far in because we don't need it to be super duper dramatic and crazy. Alright, go ahead and open for me. Beautiful. I'm going to have you look forward, and then I'm just going to connect this little bottom section here. Make that wing a little bit thicker. Again, a little bit more lift. Perfect. Even wings. 1, 2, 3. Right? I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, no. It's never that easy. Make it look easy.
Well, thanks. Last step for the eyes is going to be mascara. Easy volumizing mascara. A good trick for when you're applying mascara as an artist, or when you're doing it on yourself so that you don't get it on your eyelids, is to tilt your head back and then look down like you're reading a book. So I'm going to have you look down with your eye. Nope. Head back.
Head down, eyes down. Okay.
Head back. I'm going to hold you, and I'm going to have you look down here. I'm going to grab onto your eyelid, and then I'm just going to paint on the mascara here. Let me know if you need to blink, but also you can blink if you need to because I've got a hold of your eyelid. It's not going anywhere. Good?
Yep.
Cool. One more trick for the inner corner. A little bit on the outer corner. All right, cool. So you feel good?
Yeah.
Love that. All right. We did get just a smidgen of mascara on that under eye, but a good trick to do that. Let's take a little bit of your translucent powder. We love this trick. It's like getting rid of fallout from eyeshadow. Take it in a brush and have you look up for me. I'm gonna have this just pat it on here. Feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm gonna dust that off. It'll soften that up, blend that out, and then we can pick that off later if we need to. It also adds a little bit of highlight to the under eye, so I'm going to do that to the other side actually. Beautiful. And the eye is complete. Last little step we're going to do is the lips. You know, with an eye that's this bold, we'll say, for everyday, a little bit orange. We're just going to take a neutral everyday lipstick. I like using a lip brush because I feel like it's easier to draw on the lip line. Allows you to make a more precise line. You don't have to worry about smudging the edges, go in with your fingers afterwards, and, you know, push everything
We've
off.
all been there.
Literally. So I'm going to take this with my lip brush. I'm going to have you look forward, and I'm going to have you just slightly open your mouth for me. I'm just going to follow a natural lip line around. I'm going to get to the corner from the inside out. That way we don't get those really messy corners going on. Fill that in. Grab a little bit more. And apply it to the bottom lip, which is a lot easier because there's a lot less of a cupid's bow. Perfect. So you could stop here if you wanted, but we're more fun than that. So we're going to take a little bit of gloss. Moon Jelly from Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is the perfect gloss to top any of your lipstick choices.
It's really pretty.
I love this stuff, like how it shines. Very iridescent. Taking a little bit of this on my lip brush again. Open up for me again, please. I apply gloss to the bottom first because that's where you want it to be glossy and give some of that plumpness. And then I take a little bit that's left over and apply it to the top. And then I'll have you ever so softly press your lips together for me. Perfect. There you go. A nice, even, beautiful lip. And to finish it all off, a nice thick coat of glossy taco. A nice little bit of setting spray. Cover FX 24-hour setting spray, alcohol free. We don't put alcohol on the face. This one has a little bit of a polymer to seal everything in. We did all this work. We don't want it to disappear, go crazy. I'm just gonna do a couple sprays here. Nice fine mist. This will also help seal the brow in place. Give that eyeshadow a top coat to stay on. Fan it, have it even out. All right, cool. So, you know, you talked about you wanted to do something with your eyes today, some good foundation-y products. So we're probably gonna end up going home with, of course, the eyeshadow base and the eyeshadow palette, the ever so coveted Subculture.
Thank you.
Of course. And then we wanted to do some good foundation for you. So we're gonna head home with that too. Did a good job of evening out everything for you, gave you a nice, beautiful, radiant complexion without making you feel greasy or oily.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Thank you.